Hello everyone. Yes, I decided to do Heaven's Secret because I was so excited to see what was gonna happen after the last episode ended so tragically. My soulmate left me. No, let me stop. Malbonte set us free to be free from under Plague's thumb. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm scared of what that could mean for him. Because possibly he will have to take the damage for not having been able to, stop us. Lucifer returned to the school with other students, let's just say as collateral damage. And the other guy that was capable to be saved. And the only two love interests that were capable to be saved were Mimi and Dino. The other love interests are at the school. Malbonte, Lucifer, War. And I've read in a comment that Astaroth is gonna be a lover too. So this is gonna be interesting. I'm intrigued to know what the season is gonna be like. I'm gonna stop talking. I have to know. Season 2, episode 1. It's time to meet the Order of the Resistance. Alright. Shock me. Not a moving background, people. They are doing glow-ups on their new stories. Not starting with stop! Not starting with animation. Okay, who's smoking? Is that Lucifer? People shock me. Why don't you just shock me the first second I start this season? The first second into this season and they already start with the banger animations. This has me shook just like a song off a Crimson Nile. I was waiting to move forward, but it was moving on its own. Oh my god, don't shock me like this. Give me a second to adjust. Hunger. Oh, is that another brother? It's 4 of them. The horsemen are 4. We have Plague and War. Is Hunger another brother? Oh god, people. I imagine the drama. What voice am I gonna give him? Damn, I'm so sick of it all. I'm gonna give him a little accent. Come on now. Ooh. Episode 1, The Order of the Resistance. The portal closed behind us, shrinking to a single point and then disappearing as if it were never there. Oh, people, I think I just realized. We saw in the first second that we started into this season, we saw an animation and someone smoking. Was that Hunger? Was that the other horseman? Oh, stop. Stop. The portal closed behind us, shrinking to a single point and then disappearing as if it were never there. I felt solid ground under my feet and swayed to the side. My head was spinning and for a few seconds I was overcome by nausea. But soon the unpleasant feeling disappeared and I was able to calmly look around. Quiet. That was the first thing that came to mind. There had been no noise at the school, and apart from frightened whispers, no other sounds disturbed the silence except during the moments when the horsemen were nearby. And yet the tension that was slowly building up inside every immortal saturated the air, the food and the earth. It became a silent, continuous cry. I mean, they are all probably terrified. As long as the horsemen are still alive, they are not safe. They have to be gone. They have to die. They have to be completely out if they want to live happily ever after. But here only the soft songs of the birds and the whispers of the wind could be heard. The large old building with thick walls looked like the last stronghold in a collapsing world. This sounds more like the calm before the storm, if you ask me. I haven't even gone inside yet, but I already felt calm. Will this place become my new home? We can't relax. No place is safe from the horsemen. I mean, that's a fact. I have to be strong to protect what's dear to me. We gotta be strong. You have to. You have to pull through. Those are inner struggles that you have to keep for yourself because everyone already is tense. And you saying, yeah, we're never safe. That's the logical response. But everyone is already tense as it is. You don't have to say the obvious. Mom tossed aside the burned stone and scowled. We need to get more. We've used too many. I glanced at her furtively as if afraid to meet her gaze. It's like we were never separated at all. Vincenzo brushed off the dust and soot that had covered his clothes during the fight and without saying a word pulled me to him. Oh, my father. Let me stop. He held my shoulders tightly, pressing against his chest. Vincenzo. I paused in confusion before hugging him back. Then he withdrew, still holding my shoulders, looking into my eyes. Glad to see you, Simona. Vincenzo, I missed your sorry ass so much. Let me stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I am gonna stop. I'm so sorry. This is an emotional moment and I'm ruining it, people. I'm so sorry. Me too. That's a beautiful smile we have. Mom looked on with indifference, but her pensive expression masked a heap of thoughts and emotions that she, of course, would never show. Girl, you are no longer head of the Citadel. You can stop being a bitch. Aragon released the raven, took off his gloves quickly and turned to me. Why didn't you kill War? I knew that was gonna become an issue. I'm scared to move forward, people. I'm gonna die. I couldn't. Your weakness could cost us our lives. Rebecca, don't. She'll undertake her mistake in no time. Aragon was both calm and patronizing, but there was no accusation in his tone. I pursed my lips and didn't answer. I had nothing to say to them. I didn't know why I'd done what I had. Without waiting for an answer, he headed decisively towards the house. I wouldn't have minded murdering that bitch Plague. I wouldn't have minded murdering her. But War not. I couldn't kill War. I wouldn't have minded killing Plague. Suddenly the doors flew open right in front of Aragon and Mimi ran out, almost knocking him off his feet. And with her came Addie, Sammy, Dino, and Don. No, my friends. Dino remained at a slight distance watching with a smile as Amy and Addie crushed me in their arms. These two guys. Oh, they are my children. You're alive, you hellion. I love it. I love these guys so much. I love these two so much. Well, we're afraid of something had happened to you. I'm fine. Mimi punched me lightly. Girl. Why didn't you fly towards the order right away? Why are you so stupid? Because I love to be stupid. Let me stop. I'm glad you're alive too, Mimi. Her lips trembled, but she stubbornly looked away before her tears of relief became obvious. Mimi, we love Mimi. Dino approached us slowly. He nodded at me with a smile. Welcome to the Resistance. Dino, I love you so much. I loved and hugged him. Me. Donnie patted me on the back. Aww. It's not so bad, is it? I looked at where until recently shackles had hung like a heavy burden. Are you back in action? Yeah, sort of. He ruffled his hair like he was embarrassed to stand there in front of me after not having his power truly taken away. True, though. Okay, let's leave the talking for later. That. Winchester waved his arms as if he were shooing away a flock of chickens. Someone must be tired. We're all tired. Go to bed now. You can wash up while we're setting the table tomorrow. How's that for a plan? I followed Winchester, finding it hard to believe that this was real. Me. Maybe it was all just a dream and I was still chained in a dungeon losing my mind? I gave him a meek nod and said, That would be great, thanks. Mom hardly spoke to me, allowing Winchester to show me the bathroom and where I would sleep. I plopped onto the first bed I saw and immediately fell asleep. There are very few people that are capable of that. My mom is one of those people. Like, if she's tired, she goes to her bed and she falls asleep while she's laying down. That's creepy how she does it. Suddenly feeling the full extent of my fatigue. Can we get some out of body experience, that we get to play through someone else's eyes? In the morning, there was no one around when I woke up. Alone in the light of day, I was able to slowly examine my surroundings. There were several more beds in the room. It was modestly decorated, but the place was clean, and that made it comfortable. The beds were made, things were neatly stacked, and the smell of wet wood came from the open windows. I got up, made my rumpled bed, and then took a bath, washing off the dirt, blood, and exhaustion. I wanted to erase the memories from my skin too, but they'd become a part of me, and no matter how much I scrubbed, I couldn't get rid of them. Oh, people, it's the trauma. I found clean clothes in the room. Rebel? Important person. Oh, choose all of them. I'm sorry, how can you choose all of them? I don't know. All of them look cute, not gonna lie. I think that's a little too much, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna go with Rebel. Because I kinda am, so... But, nah, I'm gonna stop with this one. I don't like any of these hairs. Give me a second. A small second. Yes, I'm ready. I turned around in front of the mirror, admiring the outfit. These simpler, more modest clothes were more comfortable than what I wore at the Citadel and the school. Here I could breathe deeply and relax, though not for long. I touched my burned feathers. My wings looked weak and frayed. Would I be able to manage long flights with them? Would I be able to fly fast enough to escape from an enemy? I shook my head. You need time to heal, girl. I looked at my reflection and sighed, gathering resolve. Simona, you've been through this many times before. Don't be a coward. And then I tore one wing out of my bag. All right. Damn. Oh, my poor child. The pain was necessary. Power requires tenacity. But this is something I am asking myself. We did that back then, but we had heavenly powers. As in immortal powers. Right now we don't have any sort of power anymore. Because plague took all of those powers away from us. Are we still capable to grow new wings? The second wing fell at my feet. My hands were trembling, but I could already feel something new growing out of my back. Okay. I'd become stronger. Okay. Current wings. Ooh! Oh my god. I'm sorry, did we see those wings? Look at those wings! No, I'm gonna remain with my old wings. I just thought that my phone was glitching. I was like, girl. For the first time in a long time, I felt uncomfortable and out of place. I heard voices and laughter and realized that there'd be too many mortals around the corner, that their eyes would turn to me. I wasn't ready to talk and pretend that I was fine. I wanted to be alone, to get used to the idea that the danger, however, temporarily had passed. However, when I went out and saw a long table full of food, the voices didn't stop. The immortals barely paid attention to me. Not because I was invincible to them, but because everyone was too focused on chatting. Some were arguing playfully, some were eating slightly, and some were impersonating people I wasn't familiar with. I stood there stunned, not believing my eyes. I felt like a dream that recalled a distant memory from my past and that couldn't be restored. A time when being carefree was something mundane. Addie stood up on a bench, shamelessly set a foot on the table, and loudly recited a passage of Shakespeare. Addie. Never change, Addie. Which, according to him, Mimi had constantly quoted during her school years. We remember. She loved to go to the theater. Mom and Aragon ate in silence. Winchester smiled as he reassured Sammy, who was agitated by Addie's behavior. It's fine. It's fine. Sammy, it's fine. Gerald and Miss Alina spoke in a half-whisper, smiled. They are so cute together. I shuddered when I heard someone call my name in a low voice that was almost a purr. Mammon! All right, you can only kill yourself if you want to kill yourself, right? So he killed himself, but he didn't actually... Malbonte! Malbonte! I love you, Malbonte. We do remember that Malbonte was the one that shot him again and was like, just in case. And Blake was like, you're right, we don't want him to wake up again, right? So that means he hit him, but he didn't want to kill him, so he didn't die. Malbonte! Malbonte! I need this man back ASAP. I need this man back. I already fell for him. Okay, it's done now. The damage has been caused. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Simona, my baby was pretty worried about your life. I was beginning to wonder, is it really so valuable? Mammon! He laughed as he approached me with outstretched arms. His baby is Mimi, right? Eliza walked beside him and Mimi got up and turned to look at us. Dad, this isn't funny. I took a step back, holding out my hand as if afraid of his touch. So you're alive? He squeezed my shoulder and affectionately said, Of course. Quarantico. What? It was too much for my frayed nerves and I began to cry, pressing my hand to my mouth. Honestly, I would be crying too. I thought you'd been killed because of me. I tried not to think about it, not to believe it, but Sifa, that's... And also Mimi, I just... Come on, everything's fine. Mammon now looked discouraged and confused. Eliza threw his hand off her shoulder and hugged me. Forgive us, it was costly but necessary. Blake wanted my husband's power. She wanted to make him her warrior. She would stop at nothing. Don't ever put that kind of responsibility on me again. I mean, we didn't have any sort of responsibility because we didn't know anything that was going on. It was a good plan. Technically, it was a good plan. Like, let's not lie. But dangerous. To take risks. You have to take risks. You have to risk to fail in order to win the battle at the end. I remembered Blake's reasoning and asked excitedly, You didn't intend to kill yourself, that's understandable, but what about Malbonte? He finished you off. No, he did not. Mammon and Eliza looked at each other. It sometimes helps the order if it benefits him. Didn't I say he low-key likes the order? I love Malbonte. Malbonte, perché? Why did he leave? Why? Malbonte. I did say everything there was to say at the season finale. I cannot with Malbonte. Malbonte. That's the reason why I'm in love with this man. That's the reason why I'm in love with this man. It cannot be anyone else. Let me stop. Like, the feelings for Astaroth and War are still on, but like, Malbonte. I'm in love with Malbonte. This man is my soulmate, y'all. Mom got up from the table and cut in with such a frigid tone that I realized I shouldn't ask any more questions. Sit down, the food will get cold. Mom wants Malbonte dead. I can see it on her face, but the order is weak, and they have no choice but to accept help from their once sworn enemy. The one who killed Aragon's sister, the one who killed almost everyone present. If you had told me 10 years ago that Malbonte would help and we'd have a more terrible enemy, I wouldn't have believed it. I was warned by the thought that Malbonte was playing a double game. I already knew that he was not having plague. That meant we weren't enemies. Of course we're not enemies. Girl, what are you on? Honestly, is she just plain stupid or is she too naive? I can't decide with her anymore. Girl, do you not know how to read between the lines? When has Malbonte ever listened to someone else that isn't himself? When has this man ever done something that doesn't benefit him? Right now, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for the moment where the Order has gained so much strength that they're capable to defeat the Horsemen. And that's why he can't betray the fact that he's not having plague and is part of the Order. He is being a good little doggy, clinging at Plague's heels so that he gets insider information, because we did realize in episode 7, Plague wanted some cocktail and she couldn't read in Malbonte's mind what it was, and we literally said those exact words. She can't read it in his mind, but she has grown dependent on the drink, and therefore she has grown dependent on Malbonte. He's just waiting right now, waiting for his time so that he can eliminate everyone. For now, we weren't enemies. He was never your enemy, girl. From the end of the table, I heard the child whimper. An unfamiliar woman from the resistance crawled him in her arms. When the crying intensified, she got up and, still rocking the baby, left the dining room. Donnie, who was sitting in front of me, noticed my look. His name is Emilio. I suggested it. Do you like it? Is he alright? Donnie lowered his head. He almost died. Opening a seal takes a lot of vitality. I don't understand why they chose a baby for that. I heard Plague say that she needed a child like him to free her brother. How is Emilio now? He's lucky you saved him. The healer managed to minimize the consequences. He should get stronger over time. Good. He patted the seat next to him. Have a seat. Oof. Oof. Honestly, this is neither the Dino route nor the Mimi route. And I'm pretty sure that if we either choose Mimi or Dino, it looks like I'm trying a romantic approach with them. And since I'm not playing their route, I'm gonna sit with Dino. I'm gonna sit with Donnie. Because that way I can make sure there's no double game here. I am not playing any more people here. I played already too many. With pleasure, Donnie moved aside to make space for me. He jabbed his fork into one of the dishes. Try it, it's amazing. They don't cook like this on Earth. Do you miss Earth? This again? Everything has changed now. Donnie nodded, thoughtfully gripping his fork between his teeth. But they've caused so much bloodshed there. It's much worse than in heaven. The immortals don't like it, but they don't live there. They were immortals, and they don't know what it feels like. It feels like the horsemen are destroying your home. Exactly. It torments me. I wonder how my sister is doing. You have a sister? Yes, I didn't talk about her, and I didn't watch her. You're a very responsible guardian of the eye. Of course. No wonder they appointed me. You were such an asshole in school. You were obnoxious. Not true. Or are you talking about the time we had to fight against each other? That doesn't count. Sir, you burnt my wings off. We were bickering about something, reminiscing about the past. Oh, that's a beautiful moment. We laughed, joked, and shared our impressions of the food. As if our only concern was winning first place and passing an exam, Mammon suddenly banged on the table and burst out laughing. Sir, are you good? Just look at this woman, a fire demoness. Is that easy to make you laugh? Ooh! Eliza clung to her husband's neck like a young woman in love, and only the wisdom in her eyes betrayed her age. Mammon squeezed her in his arms and kissed her deeply. Ah, shall we leave you two alone? You're shameless. Addie. I remember that you did something like this in the good old days, sir, with Sammy. Wasn't that when they were like training? But I mean, hey, no one wants to get... no one wants to be a third wheel, so I understand. Hey, we can all leave. We can give them their privacy. Mimi threw a piece of meat at Annie, but he dodged it. Look, stop. Me. People, didn't I just say that? Look who's talking. You and Sammy have done worse. That's not... Sammy. It is true. I watched the sweet skirmish of Mammon and Eliza's passionate kisses, and I couldn't help smiling. Then I unconsciously shifted my gaze to Vincenzo and my mother. Are they still not together? There wasn't anything to hold them back, so why were they sitting side by side acting like they hardly knew each other? Mom noticed that I was looking at her. She stood up abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor, and said, "Having fun is all well and good, but we have a lot of work to do." She walked away as the group fell quiet, and only the click of her heels could be heard. Aragon followed. There was a knowing smile on his lips, but his voice was firm as he said, "Meet me in the study. Simona, you should come too. We'll have questions for you." Well, shit. People, I'm gonna die there. I'll die there. I nodded, feeling worried for some reason, and put down my napkin. Not just you, girl. Fine. We're gonna die. Winchester led me to the study. We walked without saying a word. I watched his back, mentally trying to sort through everything that I had managed to learn during my stay at the academy. At the door, Winchester stopped as if he sensed something and said, "Wait here." I was left alone. 10 minutes later, the door opened and I was invited inside. Well, is this supposed to be an exam? This reminds me of a project I had to do 2 months ago or so. Like, they first listen to your presentation, then they talk 10 minutes or so, then they call you inside, ask you about your preparation, etc. Then they shove you out, and then they keep on talking. Girl, is this an exam? Mom sat at the table while Aragon stood by the window. My gaze was riveted on him. For some reason, I immediately recognized that he was in charge, even if he shared the pedestal of power with his former student. "Tell her what you told us." I looked around and noticed Fenzio! Let me smack him. He almost blended in with the wall. No. "The third horseman has arrived, Hunger." I knew it. I'm so good. "I was able to come here because they don't have time for me now. The more horsemen that come, the more destructive their influence. The mortals are already experiencing food shortages. Soon they will starve. The fighting continues. People are killing each other, and cities and states are being destroyed. Disease and despair are everywhere. Things are not getting worse, and not just on the ground. The farlands are burning, and there are more uprisings in hell, not to mention the waywardness of Snowy Valley. At this rate, our world will soon fall into chaos. Simona, tell me what you've learned." I looked to Aragon eagerly. "We're listening." Blake showed me a vision, her battle with Sifa. He said that they could be killed not by force, but by something else. Probably like war. Love can kill him. What if the same is true for others? Thank you. We've thought about this. Love is the opposite of hate. See, people, what did I say? I know I am so good. But what is the opposite of despair? Despair. Hope. Hope. Period. Hope. Despair. If you're desperate, only hope can help you regain all of your strength. Hope. The others might be harder to kill. Hope is too ephemeral to cling to. That's why Blake is dangerous. You can't make someone hope. That's a lie. That's a lie. I would know. That's a lie. You can make someone hope if you give them a reason to hope. Yes, this knowledge won't help us much, but still. I wrote to you that there should be a book about the horsemen in the library. Did you find it? Yes, we know what the horsemen are planning, but there wasn't much useful information there. Sorry. I told him about Eliza's child and that he only spoke the language of darkness. I told him everything that I had heard, learned by chance, or only guessed at. They listened to me without interrupting, although I could tell from their faces that they already knew a lot of it. You've confirmed our suspicions. I nodded, but didn't know how to react to her words. Vincenzo added supportively. You gathered enough information, thank you. Mwah. Let me stop. Well done, you were able to learn something well behind enemy lines without being caught. I smiled gratefully. Period. To summarize everything we know. She thoughtfully tapped on the table. There is a certain book of life with 7 seals. The horsemen come when their seal is opened. Only half-breeds can break seals, and only those among them with enough strength and endurance. Malbonte. After all the seals are open, Judgment Day will come, where it will be decided who lives and who dies. But they won't be the ones holding the trial. Someone else will. Someone they'll release after them. They'll release the 5th horseman? Darkness? Mother. Ooh. Is it possible that there is a 5th horseman? Because everything they're doing is causing darkness. And Mother? Who are they talking about? Mother? Their mother? I doubt that. They'll release the 5th horseman? No, there are only 4 of them. Okay. They call her the Mother of Life. But who is she? The universe. That's interesting. So the thing that I least expected was it. The Mother. The Mother of Life. But how could releasing the Mother of Life help them destroy the world? Is the Mother of Life, she gives life and she can take life? Is that some sort of thing? What? That's all we know. I think it's clear to everyone that the horsemen want to burn our worlds to ashes. After the Judgment Day, it's unlikely that anything will remain of us. Ooh. Aragon continued to stare out the window. There was a calm, melancholic air to his thoughtful manner. It seemed that he wasn't at all frightened by the prospect of his own death, but he simply couldn't help but fight. The door opened and Dino entered the office. He met Fenzio's gaze and they nodded to each other with restraint. Father has proven his loyalty. Can he stay here? No, he cannot. Dino. I'm not talking to you. Rebecca. Aragon. This bitch actually ratted me out, sir. No, he cannot stay. We don't mind, my boy. Despite his past mistakes, he has helped us a lot. Am I the only one that's being still dramatic about the fact that he actually ratted us out and we had to endure insane torture? Is it just me? Believe me, we would like him to stay. Rebecca looked displeased by his sudden appearance, but didn't say anything. He was an important member of the Order. Dino quickly looked at his father. It seemed that he didn't know Fenzio had time and again voluntarily put himself in danger. We need to think about what we've heard and recover from the fight. That's all for now. You can go. Dino exchanged glances with his father again and quickly left. Fenzio hurried after him, almost colliding with me. All his attention was focused on his son's retreating back. Vincenzo gently squeezed my mother's shoulder. Okay, should I leave? She smiled at him and placed her hand over his, but quickly pulled away. Why is she holding back? Has she fallen out of love? Nah, I would say that she's afraid, because at this moment we don't know. Everyone just believes that we're all gonna die at the end anyway. So she's like, before I get into a relationship that is doomed to failure because of the end of the world, I just don't get into it in the first place. I nodded at those present and left the office. I want to see what Malbonte is doing. Somewhere in the hall, hidden among the columns, Dino and Fenzio were talking. Their nervous half-whispers bounced off the walls, and scraps of their conversation reached me, as if they were standing very close. I was very curious, but also afraid they'd notice me. The next choice will affect both friendship and romantic relationship. friendship and romantic relationship, so I have to eavesdrop on the conversation. I have to. I pressed close to one of the columns. Its cold surface made me cringe, but I listened.
So no one is forcing you. They're ready to forgive you.
Fenzio laughed venomously.
Forgive me. Don't be naive. No one will ever forgive me. If it wasn't for the end of the world, my head would have been separated from my shoulders at the moment I stepped out of non-existence.
I mean self-awareness.
Perhaps this is what will happen once it's all over. It's dangerous for you to go back.
Dino, he has so much love to give.
No, we're safe now. It's only an illusion.
Period. Someone that understands it.
Blake will realize everything sooner or later. We're protected by amulets. No one can feel our energy here. Here at least you can wait it out and...
No, honey, he can't. Fenzio quietly, almost emotionlessly interrupted him.
Then stop it. You think it's the right thing to do, to take care of your father?
I love Dino. He has so much love to give.
Even if you hate him. I don't.
Yeah, that's the problem. He can't hate you. I'm literally playing the Dino version right now. I see it. He doesn't hate him, even though he should. Because of all the horrible things he's done. He has so much love inside of him. He can't bring himself to hate his father. But there was doubt in Dino's voice. He didn't know what he felt. That's the doubt I'm talking about. He thinks after everything that the father has done, he should hate him, but he doesn't.
It's okay. It's normal. Everyone here hates me anyway.
I hate you for the torture that you just put me through. And for the fact that you had me murdered, took the form of a human, ran me off the street, and had me come to heaven. Just to be sacrificed in some sort of ritual. But I don't hate you for introducing me to my soulmates. So... Okay, I'm gonna stop. The more Fenzio spoke, the more bitterness and anger crept into his words.
I can't look at Francesca and Rebecca for too long. Old demons begin to rage inside me again.
He loved her once.
Those old grievances seem to torment me out of habit. I don't want to experience hope again, only to have it crushed by the woman's indifference. I don't see how Simona puts up with this. Rebecca loves no one and nothing but power. You don't love Rebecca either. Ooh, your greed and bruised ego are talking. Don't tell me about this anymore. I'm tired of hearing it.
Ooh! Fancy was silent for a while and then said soothingly,
If what I'm doing benefits the order, you can consider it my atonement. My apology to you.
Fenzio! I mean, I do remember very vaguely. No matter which route you take, every single time that you reach the campground in season 3, where Malbonte is trying to keep us, he always asks about Dino, if he's okay, and if he still hates him, etc. The only love that he has ever shown was the love for Dino, even though it was a toxic way. But you can see here that his love for his son is actually real. Fenzio patted Dino's back reassuringly.
Don't worry about me. I was given another chance anyway. A chance that I didn't deserve.
Dino. You got to know Dino and his father a little better. I heard the rustle of an approaching cloak. I clung to the column and slowly, in time with Fenzio's steps, moved around it to remain hidden from his eyes.
Eavesdropping isn't good.
Vincenzo, you know me so well. I almost screamed but shut my mouth in time. Vincenzo was standing behind me, leaning slightly as if to see what I was looking at. This man is also hyper for the gossip. You scared me.
It would be strange if it were otherwise.
Did something happen?
No, I thought it would be nice to give you a tour. What do you say?
No. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'd appreciate that. Come on, give me a tour. Let's have some beautiful mother-daughter talk. A father-daughter talk. Immortals were training in the courtyard. I didn't know many of them. There were old people among them, as well as very young people that were still old enough to fight. Did you save any of the children?
This is our base. It's mostly fighters here. The children and any immortals who could not participate in the battle for some reason are in other places. We've established many bunkers where we hide them from the horsemen. Safe heavens.
Got it. I began to observe the order's training regimen. Everything seemed quiet and calm. The birds chirped. The leaves rustled on ancient trees, and the wind howled, scattering the trainees' quiet voices.
Shall we continue?
Of course. We began to walk slowly alongside the building. Winchester was silent, his hands interlocked. From time to time, he looked up as if trying to see the roof.
I remember the night I first came here. Such an unforgettable feeling.
Tell me about it. Perhaps it could be important from the moment you left non-existence.
Well, I barely remember anything from the moment I was executed.
My throat suddenly tightened at the memory of that day, or farewell and my mute cry. I pursed my lips, upset by the uninvited memories.
In non-existence, our souls slowly dissipate.
Damn!
Bit by bit, returning to their origin, to the belly of the universe.
Damn!
But this deep sleep passed, and opening my eyes as if for the first time I saw the sky. It was dark, oppressive, similar to how I remembered it, but still somehow different. I was unaccustomed to breathing, to being aware of my body and remembering the past. My memories returned quickly, but they were shrouded in a haze, as though I hadn't fully woken. But my joy at returning to life didn't last long. I realized I was being held aloof. My seemingly atrophied wings folded despite the altitude. The creatures that held me were covered in painful ulcers. Their vacant eyes stared ahead.
Are you awake? I am not, bitch.
I didn't know who she was, what she needed, or how much the world had changed while I wandered in the darkness of death. But as soon as I looked at the horsewoman in the eyes, I realized this evil existed for evil's sake. She pinched my cheek between two fingers and said in a sickly sweet voice,
You have a choice, join me or die. This time for good. Which will you choose?
I will choose death, period!
Honestly, I'll listen to your offer.
Kill for me, and I won't kill you.
Perhaps I will decline, period!
I snapped my fingers and flames erupted to either side of me. For a moment it seemed that the gods in the clouds had ignited, spreading the fire across the sky, but then I realized that I was continuing to cause these explosions, not knowing how to stop. Blake flew aside laughing. She watched as I plumped, unaware I was even falling. I kept bombarding everything around me instead of spreading my wings, as if I was paralyzed. A flash of my fire blew a hole through part of a rock, sparing me from a painful collision. I fell through the gap and then lost consciousness as I hit another rock below.
Damn! Give this man a bit of peace.
I didn't know how long it took me to recover, but when I woke up, Plague was no longer around. She probably thought I disappeared, not realizing I'd fallen into the cliffs. Blue stones sparkled everywhere, almost blinding me. They covered the damp cave walls like mushrooms.
Not mushrooms. Not the mushrooms. They're giving me Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes. Not the mushrooms.
I picked one up and stared at it as if it held the answer to everything.
Oh, the Stone of Secrets, the one that was put into our wrists, right?
And then I wandered everywhere my eyes led me. I flew without stopping, without thinking about what had happened, almost in a state of delirium.
Damn.
Another far-ranging flight that had no end, as if the whole world had died out and I was left alone. Or maybe that's what non-existence really looks like.
People, this is dark.
An island finally appeared. Was this the far lands? I was so far from the capital, from the academy, from everything. My memories came back.
And what happened next? Winchester blinked as if he'd forgotten he was telling a story.
Yes, and then I landed near a small thatched house. An angel met me, bowed meekly, and offered lodging for the night. He fed and sheltered me, but the longer I stayed with him, the more nervous he became. He kept looking out the window as if he were waiting for someone. I thanked the angel, intending to leave, but he kept trying to delay me. Then I pushed him away and soared into the sky. A dozen immortals were flying in the distance. Even from afar, I could feel their fear, their aggression, their submissiveness. I realized that the horsewoman had eyes and ears everywhere, that she wanted to capture or kill me before I had the opportunity to gain strength and oppose her. Perhaps I would have met my second death there, but Mammon appeared out of nowhere. My friend, I'd hoped non-existence wouldn't let you go.
Mammon.
But since it has, I'll help you. What else can I do?
Mammon. We love Mammon. So Mammon was already in the resistance?
Not really. There was no resistance back then.
But your base is near the Farlands. Is that a coincidence?
Not exactly.
Sir, tell me deets. Tell me details.
Full of energy and strength, Mammon easily dealt with Plague Squad. He had to kill the angel who betrayed me as well.
Period.
The fewer immortals that knew about what happened, the better. Mammon brought me here. I first saw this building on a night as clear as when you arrived. I was standing in the yacht looking up at the roof and the stars peeking out from behind the clouds. And at the moment I finally understood I'm alive. I was given a second chance. And I wouldn't waste it. And then I saw her. Rebecca? She came out to meet us but was stunned at the sight of me standing in the dark of the night. I didn't yet know the law had been abolished. I didn't know Blake's name or who she was. I didn't know anything. One thing I knew for sure, Rebecca would be mine. I'd wait, but I wouldn't let her slip away again.
Oh, I love that. His words saddened me because they still didn't look like a happy couple. However, I didn't say anything since it was a deeply personal matter. But what about the order? Winchester shook his head, laughed at his own forgetfulness, and said,
The strongest survivors gathered here. One of the scholars took a look at the rock I found in the cave. It was as if fate led me to that place. A place that I had spent several decades searching for unsuccessfully, but in the end I discovered it by accident. We went back there and collected some stones. We would have taken more, but it was risky to make even a second trip. They allowed us to conceal our consciousness. That's when we decided it was time to act. It was then that the order was created.
Winchester opened the door for me and said,
You've already seen the study and dining room. What about the relaxation room?
You have one?
It's nothing special. That's just what we call it. A place where it's forbidden to talk about the horsemen or anything related to them.
Winchester. I froze in the doorway at the sight of a dozen immortals stretched out on the floor by a fireplace and sitting on the couch. They were engaged in a lively conversation so shamelessly cheerful and carefree that it felt like someone dosed me with cold water. I need to get out. I hastily returned to the hall. Poor us. This is too much for us.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just didn't expect to see such a crowd.
I understand.
I'm just as impressionable. Girl! Winchester and I turned at the sound of my mother's voice. And you're still as cold-blooded? And you're still just as demanding? Am I going for sassy or sassier? That's not true? Nope. Is that bad? Out. And you're still just as demanding.
I'll leave you.
He's like, I'm not getting involved. He walked past Mom, casually touching her elbow. She lowered her face and smiled faintly, half embarrassed, half reserved. That was all they allowed themselves, even with nothing standing in the way. When Winchester left, we looked into each other's eyes tensely. And then we rushed into each other's arms. Okay. I knew you were alright. It couldn't be any other way. I'm glad you're here. We awkwardly pulled away. Mom looked at me again, her expression more sober and calculating. Path of strength, period! Tell me I don't have enough strength points, bitches!
Your experience as a ruler did you good.
Thank you. I know, I'm great.
You held up well and endured everything that crashed down on you. Maybe it's for the best that you've been stripped of that bastard's dark, filthy power.
He's my soulmate!
You can prove that you can do just as much without his help. Maybe you'll discover a different talent in yourself.
I keep on saying that we have the capability to extract other people's powers. We both know that isn't true. I was born a weasel, and now I'm empty. But thanks. Mom shook her head in annoyance, and her gaze shifted quickly to look past me at other things.
Well, rest while you can. As soon as there are any news, I'll let you know.
She returned to the study, and I went to my room. People, I'm filled with such joy. Path of strength. Yes! I lay in bed late into the night, remembering my mom's words, the battle, and 1,000 roads leading to death that I had not taken by sheer luck. But then Malbonte's cruel face came to my mind. Yes! He's mine! He's mine! He's my soulmate! He looked at me with a hypnotic, impenetrable gaze, and I was terrified of it. My enemy, my almighty shadow, wandering under the cover of night, the killer of all who were dear to me. It wasn't enough for him to hurt me. He decided to steal my heart as well. Yes! It's a fact. Knowing that I'd be tormented by it, that I couldn't offer anything but coldness and cruelty in return. I hated him for it. I was afraid of him. I thought about him. We're in love with this man. There's no other way around it here. Following those intrusive thoughts, I was remembered war. People, I started something I couldn't finish. I could have weakened the horsemen, but instead I showed weakness in front of them. I would say more. Honestly, he was shook. He was shook and confused. He expected you to kill him, but since you didn't, I think he was grateful for our choice. We do remember that, so I don't think he saw this as weakness. He saw it more as surprise, as in, I learned to love you, but you care about me enough to not kill me in order to win this war? Would War take the chance to kill me since I failed to kill him? He had the chance to kill you, but didn't. I put out the candle and buried my face in the pillow, hoping that sleep, like a skilled magician, would transform all my fears into a nonsensical joke. That's not how things work, honey. That's not how things work. Oof. Oh god, are we having another moment with Sephamalum? Oh. The sheer amount of dark, destructive energy prevented me from moving. It felt like I was immersed in ice-cold jelly that was trembling and pulsing, engulfing my body. It was difficult to breathe. It smelled of ashes and sulfur. The cold pierced me to the bone. The figure of Sephamalum appeared in the distance. Why? His hazy, wispy silhouette approached me. His smile could be seen from afar, frightening and revolting. What do you want? Sephamalum twitched, and for a moment his body lost its shape, obeying a wind that wasn't there before returning to its obscure form, the mask of evil.
Is this your gratitude for the warning I gave you? You managed to save the immortals.
I pursed my lips and partly from fear and partly from anger asked, "What are you up to? What do you know about the horseman? Why won't you leave me alone?" That though. What are you up to? I mean, we do know that he's reaching out to Malbonte. So that means he needs Malbonte under his thumb again. Why won't you leave me alone? Because it's funny. It's funny to him. Perhaps he wants to use us to get to Malbonte, maybe. What do you know about the horseman? Tell me something.
Straight to the point, but I won't tell you anything new. Not now.
He came closer and the darkness inside him squeezed my chest and throat. It poisoned me. It was killing me. I wanted to scream in horror, but I couldn't. I couldn't do anything. Only watch and listen. Sephamalum brought his face closer. Two impenetrable staring sockets filled with darkness and long bare teeth that could pierce my throat at any moment.
I'll give you a piece of advice, and you'd better take it for your own good. Don't bother my boy!
I knew it! Yeah, he's like, I know that you're his weakness. Stay away from him.
Don't bother my boy. He knows what he's doing. Let him release the darkness within him. I've cultivated it so diligently.
I never got that ending, but I do know for a fact, sadly, that if you are good, but you still choose to side with Malbonte, you can see a special ending where you can see Malbonte suffering under the darkness of Sephamalum. And Malbonte is like, please stop it. This is too much. I don't want to turn into this like monster, because he inflicted his own darkness, as in Sephamalum put part of his darkness inside of Malbonte to make him strong, you know, to fight Sepha in order to release Sephamalum, etc. As in, he had his own agenda. And he put his darkness inside of Malbonte. And that darkness formed him into, you know, that his darkness is much more powerful than his angel side, which is why he prefers to use his demon side instead of his angel side. But I think that's also something that mixed with trauma. Probably because he has been living with Sephamalum and he has been injecting him with that, and he has been inspiring on his anger. Perhaps it's some sort of traumatizing for Malbonte to use his angel side, because Sephamalum has been inspiring his demon powers for his entire life. Sephamalum moved even closer and I felt the heat inside me. He opened his mouth and I screamed. He did not have to do me dirty like that. Sephamalum, I will decide if I leave your boy alone or not, which, no, I won't. This is the Malbonte version. I will not leave him alone. But Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm lost for words right now. Oh my god. I want to see Malbonte. I want to see how he's doing. And as we can see, my choices have made me, or let's just say my poor character, be stuck between two hotties. Malbonte and War. I'm intrigued when they're gonna introduce Astaroth as a lover. But hey, that was a nice start in the season. That was a nice start into the season. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.